Hello friends, welcome to our class. Now we are going to start Ancient and Medieval India, written by Punand Dalal Dahiya. Let's start. First chapter Ancient India में हम देखेंगे The brief story of India. In English word history come from the Greek word historica means the inquiry knowledge acquired by the investigation. In the corresponds to the study of the past and through the light on the various past events in the significance which the shaped and evolved human experience. History is the further divided into prehistory, protohistory, and history. Events occurring before the invasion of the writing are the considered the domain of the prehistory, which is generally represented by the three stone age. Defining the proto-history is the rather than the difficult as has the different connotation. Generally, there refers to a period between the prehistory and the history during which a culture or civilization has not yet developed. Writing, but the mentioned in the writing records of the contemporary literate civilization. For example, thus a script of the Harappan civilization remains the undepicted. However, since the existence is not a Mesopotamian writings, it is the considered a part of the proto-history. Similar to Vedic civilization from the 1500 to 600 BC had an oral literary tradition. Through the did not take up literary writing, they can thus the consider a part of the proto-history as well as the archaeologist consider Neolithic and Chalcolithic culture to be the part of the proto-history. The study of the past after the invasion writing and a study of the literate scientist based on the written and archaeological source, the continues a history. History and identity of human settlement in India go back to the prehistoric time. The credit for going to all early existence study of Indian prehistory go the Robert Bruce Foots and who discovered what was the probably the first Paleolithic tools discovered in India, Pallavaram Handex. The later and he discovered a large number of the prehistoric site in the South India. The contribution of the Sir Martin Wheelers is the equally significant as he efforts greatly contributed towards the knowledge of prehistoric culture of India and their sequence on their basis of the geological age, the type of the geological stone tools and the substances base. The Indian stone tools is classified the primarily into three types. The Indian Stone Age, Old Stone Age, Paleolithic Age, 5 lakh to 10,000 BCE. The later Stone Age, Mesolithic Age, 10,000 to the 6,000 BCE. The new Stone Age, Neolithic Stone Age, 6,000 to 1,000 BC. A generally time range in specific as there is a great deal of the various in the date for the different sites. The Paleolithic age, hunter and food gatherer. The Paleolithic age is the earliest period of the Stone Age, which developed in the Paleocene periods or the Ice Age. It was spared in the practically all part of the Indian except all the alluvial plains of the Indus and Ganges. The Paleolithic man of the India are said to be have the belong to the Negrituan race. They lived in the cave and rock shelters. They were food gathering people who lived on the hunting and gathering wild fruits and the vegetables. And they had no knowledge of agriculture, house building, and the poetry and any metals. It was only in a later stage that they extend the knowledge of the fire. Man during this period used tools of the unpolished and the undressed rough stone, mainly hand axe and cleaver, choppers, blades, burials, and the scrapers, since the stone tools were made in the hearts rock called the Escretized. Paleolithic men are therefore all called categorized men in India. Categorized men in India. This one is these tools. The Paleolithic tools. The Paleolithic age is divided into three phases according to the nature of the stone used them. The early or the lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic and later upper Paleolithic. Early lower Paleolithic use of the hand axe, choppers, cleavers mainly for the chopping and digging and the sneaking. The found in the Son and Sohan River Valley now in Pakistan, Kashmir and deserts. And Didwana, Rajasthan, Heran Valley, Gujarat, rock shelter of the Bhimbetka MP, and Velan Valley, Mirzapur, UP. Time period 5 lakhs BCE to 50,000 BCE covers the greater part of the Ice Age. Middle Paleolithic. The use of the stone tools made of the flax mainly in the scrapers, borers and the points and the blade-like tools found in the Son, Narmada and the Tungbhadra river valley. Potwar Plateau between Indus and Jhelum, the Soghau caves near the Peshawar, Pakistan, 50,000 BC to 40,000 BC, established only 1960 by H.D. Sangkalia, was the named Nevasan industry after the site of the Nevasa, Maharashtra. Later or the Upper Paleolithic, parallel side blades and the burials and the some instance of the bone tools and the found in the Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Central MP, South UP and Chota Nagpur Plateau. The bone tools found only at the cave site of Kurnool and the Muchachatla Chitanamani Gavi, the Andhra Pradesh. Time period 40,000 BCE to 10,000 BCE. The Homo sapiens first appeared at the end of this phase, coincided with the last phase of the Ice Age when the climate became the conspicuously warm and the ice humid. Mesolithic age. Hunter and herders. It is a varieties of the tool in the Mesolithic age. You can now see the this type of this phase. The all tools become going to slowly sharp and the lighter as compared to Mesolithic. Sorry, Paleolithic. The Mesolithic age represented the intermediate stage of the Stone Age culture. Both the Mesolithic and Neolithic culture belong to the Holocene era, which succeeded the Paleocene era around 10,000 years ago. The Mesolithic man lived on the hunting, fishing, and food gathering, and the later stage also domesticated animals. And one of the key aspects of the Mesolithic age was the reducing in the size of the well-established tools type. The characteristics tools of this age were the microlithic miniature stone tools, usually made of the uh, cryptocrystalline silicon, chalcodony, and or the shards. The both of the geometrical and non-geometrical shape where they are not only used as the tool in themselves but also the make the composite tools. The spear of the arrowhead and the sticles after the hafting them and the wooden and bone handles. Has some, some of the other aspects of the Mesolithic age are the pottery and absent and most Mesolithic site but in the present at the Langanj in Gujarat and in the Kaimur region of Mirzapur, UP. The last phase of this age saw the beginning of the plant cultivation. This Mesolithic are initiated rock arts and the prehistoric in 1867. The first rock painting of India were discovered as Sohaghata, Kaimur Hills, UP. Now, over the 150 Mesolithic rock art sites have been discovered across India, which reach the concentration in the central India, such as the Bhimbetka cave, Karwan Jor and Karwad Jora, Ko- Kothita MP, Sundargarh, Sambhalpur, Odisha, Ajambutha Guha, Kerala. Animal domesticated since at most Mesolithic art site. However, no snake are the depicted in Mesolithic paintings. Mesolithic painting. Bhimbetka cave paintings. The burial and the rock paintings gives as the ideas about the development of the religious practices and also reflect the division of the labor on the basis of the gender. Important Mesolithic sites are the Bagor, Rajasthan on the river Kothari is known as the largest and the best documented Mesolithic site in India. The Chota Nagpur region, central India, the both the and Adamgarh MP and the Bagor provided the earliest evidence for the domestication of the animals. The south of the river Krishna and Tiny Valley in the Tamil Nadu. The Birbhanpur in West Bengal, Sarai Nahar Rai near the Allahabad, Pratapgarh area, Maharashtra, UP, where bone artifacts are found, including the arrowheads and bone ornaments. Neolithic age. The food producing stage. In the northern India, the Neolithic age emerged around the 8000 to 6000 BC. Stone places where southeastern India. It is the later and 10,000, 1000. Its significance of the prehistory can be gagged by the fact that we Gordon child term as the Neolithic phase. The Neolithic revolution it is the introduce a lot of the innovations such as these tools. New invention. A. Advent of the food producing. The Neolithic man cultivated land and the grow the fruits and the corn like the ragi, horse, gram, kulthi. The domesticated cattle, sheep, goats, cattle. Third, the innovation में innovation in the technology. The Neolithic man innovated in the producing of the stone tools, producing elements such as the polished, packed, and the ground stone tools. They dependent on the polished tools other than the cauterized are making tools. They use the celts and was especially important for the ground and the polished hand axe based on the type of the axe used. Three important areas of Neolithic settlement can be identified. The northern western, the rectangular axe was the covered cutting edge, and northeastern, the polished stone edge with the rectangular heart, but has the uh, occasional shoulders hose. The southern में X which axis which the overside and the pointed but the innovation of the poetry. The Neolithic era communicators first made poetry by the hand, and then with the help of the poetry's wheel. The property included black burnished and warts, the grey word, and the mid impressed war. It was can refer to the set the poetry and on a large scale appeared in this phase. D. The emergence of self-sufficient village community in the later phase of the Neolithic era. People lived to more settled life. They lived in the circular, rectangular houses made of the mud and the reed. They also know how to make the bush and the could spin cotton and the will weave hair cotton. Division of the labor based on the sex age. As society was the progressive and the need for the additional labor was the recognized and thus the labor was the procured from the other non-kin groups too. Some of the important excavated Neolithic site along with their the unique aspects are follow. Woods home, unique rectangular choppers and domestic dog burials and with their the master graves of the Gulf Kral in Jammu and Kashmir, the famous for the Devling Stone Age tools and the graveyards are located with the households. Maski, Brahmagiri, Pilkahal, the proof of the cattle herdings, the Budhyal community food preparation and the fastings, and the Tekal Kota in the Karnataka. The Paimapalli in Tamil Nadu, the Utnur and Andhra Pradesh, the Garo Hills in Meghalaya, Chirand in Bihar consider use of the bone implements, especially those made of the antlers. The Sarai Khola near the Taxila Potwar, Plateau Amri Kotdiji and the Mehergarh, the earliest Neolithic site known as the bread basket of the Baluchistan, the province of the Pakistan. The Koldiwa in the Velan Valley, unique in the terms of the presence of a three-fold Neolithic, Chalcolithic, and Iron Age settlements. Koldiwa and the Mahagara, south of the Allahabad, near a strata of the circular huts, along with the crude handmade poetry. Earliest, the evidence of the rice cultivation in the world. The choppings, the Mando Velan Valley, earliest in the evidence of the use of the poetry. Velan Valley on the northern spurs of the Vindhyas and the middle part of the Narmada Valley, evidence of the three phase of the Paleolithic settlement followed by the Mesolithic and Neolithic settlements. Chalcolithic age slash copper stone age 3000 to 500 BC. The Chalcolithic age marked the emergence of the use of the metal along with the stones. The first metal to be used in the copper, and they thought the also occupationally used the bronze. The technologically the Chalcolithic stage largely applies to the settlement of the pre-Harappans, but the various part of the country it appears after the end of the bronze Harappan culture. Some Chalcolithic culture are the contemporary of the Harappan culture. Some of the pre-Harappan culture through the possible to say that the most Chalcolithic culture are the post-Harappan. Some the prominent site of the pre-Harappan culture and the Ganeshwar near the Khetri mines of the Rajasthan, Kalibanga in Rajasthan, Banwali in Haryana, Kot Dizi in the Sindh, Pakistan. Chalcolithic people domesticated cow, sheep, goat, pig, and buffalo, hunted deers. They ate buffalo but did not like the pork and were are not acquainted is the horse. It is the rather than the interesting note that the domesticated animal were slaughtered for the food, not the milk. For the merely products, this the practice that still continues among the Agand peoples of the Bastards. The people of the Chalcolithic phase produced wheat, rice, and the vegetables, bajra, sables, plus and such as lentil, black gram, green gram, and the grains pea. While those living in the western regions of lived on fish and the rice. They practiced more slash burn and the jhum cultivation. However, the neither plucked or nor has been the founded at any site of this period. And they used the different type of the poetry, and the black and red poetry was the most popular. This was the made the using the poetry wheels and was the painted with the white lines designed. Equally interesting is the fact that the female poetess did not use poetry was a wheel, only the man did. Other distinguishing feature of the people in the Chalcolithic age are the follow. They are not the acquired with the burnt bricks and they generally lived in the thatched house and the mud bricks. They were economic is the economy was a village based economy. The Chalcolithic era people not know the use of the writing. Their village were the small with the huts and laws close to the each other. And the Chalcolithic people is people cooked their food. The small clay image earth goddesses have been found on the Chalcolithic site. It is thus possible say that the venerated mother of the goddess Chalcolithic people were found the ornaments decoration. The women wear the ornaments, shell and the bones, and carried the finally what combs and there the hairs. The bull was the probably and the symbol of their the religious cults based on the styles bull, terracotta, the Malwa and the Rajasthan. The Chalcolithic people were the expert the uh, copper smiths and they know the art of the copper smelting and were the good stone workers as well as they manufactured blades and the semi precious stones such as carniles, satellites, as statites and the quartz crystals. They were the spinning and weavings. And the Chalcolithic settlements have been found in the southern Rajasthan, western MP, western Maharashtra, as well as other. The part of the southern western India were the deficient regional differentiation in terms of the cereal produce and the co- consumed potteries and made. They also, for the instance, western India produced rice, whereas the western India cultivated barley and wheat. In the Maharashtra, the dead were the buried in the north-south direction, whereas the northern India they are the buried in the eastern western direction. The Eastern India fractional burial was the practiced. The infant mortality was the very high among the Chalcolithic people, as the evident front the burials and large number of the children in western Maharashtra. One can note the beginning of the social inequalities in the Chalcolithic societies, as chief who lived in the rectangular house, the dominated other who lived in the round huts. Some of the important excavated Chalcolithic south along with their the unique aspects are follows. Ahar. As Smelting and the metallurgy stone house, the guild's occupational use, the Burnett bricks, the Banas Valley, Rajasthan. Remains found in the Ahar site, Rajasthan Chalcolithic, Nevasa, Jorwe, Northern Harappan culture, Nanwa Toli cultivated along most the food grains. The Daimabad, largest Jowar culture site in the Godavari Valley, famous for the recovery of the bronze goods. The uh, Songaon, Inamgaon, large and mud house with the ever the circular pit house, and the Nasik, Maharashtra, the Chirand, Senur, Sonpur, Bihar, Mahisadal, West Bengal, Kayantha, mud plastered floods, the pre-Harappan elements in the poetry, the Malwa, the richest Chalcolithic ceremony, spindles, wheelers, and non-Harappan culture, the Aran MP and non-Harappan culture, Chalcolithic and Harappans, Chalcolithic and Harappan. Primarily ruler, used the mostly copper. They lived in the hills and land rivers. Harappan culture primarily urban, used the bronze and the maintained the urbanization and basics of the produce from the food plants and industrial. Thank you very much. Please subscribe our channel and share with friends to help me. Thank you once again. Let's next time start Harappan civilization. Have a good day. Thank you very much.